Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Judy and you are watching Running Sew and Sew. And to start with, I want to say thank you to everyone who has recently subscribed, commented, watched and liked one of my recent videos, especially the one that I put up for the lovely Sew 7 Together challenge, which I'm currently co-hosting with the lovely Sam, who is Sew Let's Sparkle with Sam, and Mandy from Make It Sew. I also want to say thank you to the lovely comments I had on my silly little Instagram reel. It's just to reflect how I'm feeling, and your kind words mean so much to me. Any kind of weight loss is a long slog, and I gave myself the time to do it. So I'm really pleased. No more about slimming, because it's caused me one heck of a problem in that I have got very few clothes that fit me. I did lose a lot of weight a while ago, and the clothes that I made then don't all necessarily fit me, because I've actually lost more weight on my shoulders this time, even though I'm not as lightweight as I was last time, if you follow that. So here, everything is falling off. So I've got garments that are fitting me beautifully, because over your life, your body changes. I've now gone through the menopause, apart from the lingering little hot flushes that seem to want to come up and bite you when you don't expect it. So my body has changed, so everything fits me around the middle and around the hips, but on my shoulders I seem to have lost more weight here. So everything is falling off here. I've got a beautiful dress that I made for my father's funeral, which I made after I'd put on a little bit of weight, and I still can't get that to stay on my shoulders, so I'm having to sort of readdress what I've got to wear. Now this is something that I made when I lost the weight the last time round. It is just an Ogden cami in the Atelier Brunette double gauze Stardust, and I absolutely love it. It is now designated for school because it's got a few bleach marks on it, and it looks brilliant with my Grainland Studios Moscow, which is what I made it for. So I'm here today and it's Friday. Yes, I've got a Friday sews. I've got lots to tell you today, and I'm calling this video the 4 Ps, because everything is pea related and there's not one poppy dog in sight. She is outside sunning herself. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is my post. I've had some lovely post. The first thing I've got in the post is here. I haven't taken it out of the envelope, I thought I'd leave it for you. And I have bought myself the lovely new Fleur dress from the Fabric Godmother. Now, I know exactly what I want to make my Fleur dress in. And it's, believe it or not, another P without it being one of my 4 Ps. But it is a PinkDoor Sewscription fabric. And this is the fabric we got in the last, I think, pink Sewscription box, and I think it will make the most beautiful Fleur dress, and the look I'm wanting to make is this one here. And those of you that have seen the lovely Rowan, she's made the red top, which is like that there. So that's the first thing I wanted to share, but I haven't just had that in the post. I received the most amazing gift in the post recently. My lovely friend Lorianne sent me something really unique. Lorianne sent me what is called a Sew Steady extension table for my sewing machine. Now I'm going to have to move my camera back a little bit. So at the end here I have got a drawer that will slide out like so. So the table has these beautiful screw legs which you can screw up and down, and the idea is it gives you a flatter bed to sew on, whether you're sewing garments or whether you're quilting. It creates like the effect of a horn cabinet without the purchase of a horn cabinet. It comes out the front here and it extends quite a lot out the back here as well. And this is the table that I used on Lorianne's Benina 880 when I was out with her a couple of years ago and last summer. And she put on the table this lovely piece of washi tape to help me when we were making our Oregon quilt. If you can remember, I made an Oregon quilt. I'll put a little link in above if you've not seen my Oregon quilt. But there's a piece of washi tape there, and it's come complete with the washi tape on it. This is a magnifying glass to help with those of us with aging eyesight, but the whole thing goes quite a long way around my table, and it is called the Sew Steady table, and you can get them for lots of different sewing machines. The company is, as I say, Sew Steady, and I'll put them in the description box below. So that was the second piece of post, and that's all I've had in the post. I don't have a lot of post because I'm desperately trying not to spend money. Oh, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was pressing. Now, there's been a lot of talk on the sewing community recently, and people saying, I've broken my iron, which iron should I have? Now, I'm going to talk quite bluntly about irons, and to me, at 63, and I would have been married for nearly 40 years by now, and even when I was at home with mum, irons broke. Irons don't seem to have a very long shelf life. So I did a few years ago buy a really nice iron, and it cost me, I think we're looking at maybe 2011, it cost me £75, which in today's figures you're looking at well over 100, probably a similar price to an Aliso iron. And I am not saying that I don't want an Aliso iron, it would be very lovely, but quite frankly I can't justify the money. And having bought this, what I thought was really nice Phillips iron, and spending all that money all those years ago, and it lasted 9 months and it broke. And I just thought, never again am I going to buy an iron that is expensive like that. So I'm going to tip down my, before I do that, I'm actually going to show you the iron that I have used in my sewing room. Now, in my sewing room, I have a little sewing pressing station. Now, I have an old chopping board, and on my old chopping board, I have some tea towels. And this tea towel has got macaroons on, and I got it in Paris. So it's a beautiful, beautiful pressing station, and it is big enough to press any little seam, any bit of quilting. It's there to the side of me and it's ready to use. And the reason I set up a sewing station like this is that many years ago I saw that Tula from Tula Pink, she's Tula? She is called Tula of Tula Pink. She was doing some sewing and she got a little iron out, and it was a little tiny mini Aliso iron, and I'd love one of those. But only when I feel the time is right, and I don't think the time is right at the moment when I've got dogs that could come into the kitchen and knock it off the table. The irons I've got are more than adequate. So when I set up my sewing in the kitchen here, I bought myself this iron. It's a Russell Hobbs Pearl Glide iron. It's very pretty, and it cost me £20. No, was it 25? It didn't cost me very much, and I got it on Amazon. Last week I went to Lidl. Now it's nice, but it's a bit on the heavy side. Last week I went to Lidl. Now Lidl is one of these like semi-thrift stores for those of you that are not in the United Kingdom. And I saw the Lidl brand, which is Silvercrest, and they had this in. Lovely little between the mini iron and the big iron size steam iron. Look at this. It is just a little bit smaller all the way around, and it is just the right size for my sewing room, and I've kept the other iron down until I have done this video. But the lovely Pearl Glide iron is going to go upstairs, and it's going to go up as a spare iron into my linen cupboard upstairs, because the iron I do have up there was another one that was £50+, and that is breaking already. And I've even bought these big steam generator irons, and when they go, they blow the system, and you just think, right, something's gone in that. They stop working, they blow the circuits, and I just thought, I'm not having it. Never again am I spending that money on an iron. So if anybody's looking for a little iron for their sewing room, hop down to Lidl in your centre aisles. They've got this beautiful little iron for 15 quid. Right, that's my second piece. And do you know what I've done? I've moved my list, it's on the back of my envelope. Right. The next P is a problem solved, and it's really super exciting news. I'm getting fibre broadband next Friday, a week tomorrow, the 28th of June. It's coming. The UK is slowly rolling out fibre broadband to all the little villages, and it has arrived in the village that I live in, which is absolutely crazy because all the villages around us have had it, but because we're sort of suspended in the middle of the A19 and there's nothing to sort of bring the cables up through, the little villages out here have now got this wonderful fibre broadband. We don't have mains gas. We are still on oil in my village, but we are getting fibre broadband. And I find it quite bizarre that we are actually next to the main road between York and Selby. And it's only now that we are getting our fibre broadband. And I couldn't wait to get it installed. And the company that I'm getting the broadband from, and there's two companies that are trying to sort of get customers in the village. I've gone to one and they have said that they will let me have the broadband for free until my current contract runs out in November. So I'm like, yep, I'll have that, thank you very much. And then if I recommend next door, we get some vouchers. So we're splitting them. We'll have £62.50 each of these, you know, these cards you can get that you can spend in various shops. So there you go. That's going to be quite exciting. So that is a huge problem solved. And I can tell you now, uploading vlogs is going to be so much easier because at the moment I've got into a little routine. I'll do the vlog, then I'll put it to upload, and 12 hours later it might be going live if I'm lucky. But you know, my channel's nearly 4 years old and I'm so used to it. I went to Tristan's the other week and he said, have you brought your video, Mum? And I went, no, it's already uploaded. And he said, I was going to do it. And I said, yes, but I'm so into the habit of just pressing upload and letting it get on with it. I just went into automatic pilot. Now, finally, I'd like to talk to you about projects. And I am nearly done with my Sauvie dress now. There are various ways which you can finish these dresses, and I am not an understitcher. I am a seam roller. So I don't press I do press the seam, but I don't understitch because I don't like it, because if it ever rolls forward, you've got that line of stitching. But I tend to find that if I roll, press and stitch down and leave, that makes the tightest finish ever. If you understitch your seam, you've still got that top of your seam that could roll backwards and forwards. Let me explain what I mean. Now, I'm not going to do much of this, and you have to remember this is the way I was shown many years ago, and I have stuck to doing this. And actually, I find rolling a seam very therapeutic. What the pattern asks you to do is to understitch on this side here. Well, you can understitch it to the seam allowance, but you're still going to have the problem that the seam could actually roll forward and show you your facing or your lining from behind. So what I do is, this is the bit I've already done here, can you see? Just take that to one side, here. And when you hold it up this way round, you can see here that you've got quite a crisp finish. This is the finish that you want, where you can actually see your stitches on your seam coming through. Now, I don't think I can get the camera to go in any further, but you should be able to see the little stitch marks here. So what you do is, and it is time consuming, it's part of the hand finishing process, which I absolutely love in sewing. So it's quite, you lick your fingers, so you've got a bit of adherence. Suppose if you had a pair of those disposable gloves, that would do the same thing. And if you roll your seam like this, you will see your stitches come to the top. Release it slightly, finger press it down and stitch. And that's all it is. Now, I'm not going to do it all now. I sometimes give it a little tweak from underneath just to make certain I've got it nice and tight. And that, I'll just do another little bit for you. Moving up here. Lick my fingers. I'm not even going to show you myself doing that. Just tiniest bit of dampness on. Release it. Pull it back again. Give it another go. and it really does ache your fingers after a while, but you will see your seam come to the surface and you literally stitch it down with a very small tacking stitch like so. I'm just going to go on a little bit because that's where I've got to. And then what I do is I would press my garment, I would leave that tacking in. Can you see the tacking there? You can probably see it better on the pink. Leave that tacking in until I am ready to wear the garment. And as I'm about to wear the garment for the first time, I remove the tacking, which is not knotted at this far end here. That's a little list thing here. That's the end. I don't knot the tacking at all. I will go back and I will tweak it, and I have got an absolutely exact seam down there. And that's what I do to finish rather than using an understitch. Now, apologies if you think I'm looking to the side. I've just left my screen up so I can hold up my Sauvie dress. So I have started to roll the hem at the back. You can see the area there that I've done the roll. You can see the thread coming down. But my Sauvie dress is here. The pockets are actually quite interesting, and you will see that I have actually flat tacked this down. Oh, can you see it? I flat tacked these bits, which is the facing bit of the pocket. I tack to the top to stop it moving, and then I lay the whole thing flat. Let me see if I can explain it to you. So here's my pocket. Now the side seams have been sewn now, but what I do is when I put the pocket in and done the bag all the way around like so and neaten it, I lay it flat and I iron it, and then I flat pin it through here, and then using the edge of my foot I do the top stitching around the outside of the pocket bag. So I'm actually doing my top stitching from the inside. So you need to do a tension check to make certain your tension on your machine is even on both sides. And then when you turn your garment through, you will have that beautifully top stitched pocket on the top. Now this was a BeyondThePinkDoor Think Pink Sewscription fabric. So I know that the thread that Andrea sent was the right one. And yet again, you can see that I've hand rolled the pocket and I've top stitched it as well. I'm not top stitching around the neck of the dress. So what next this week? Because since I last spoke to you, I have done another pattern test. I finished some free range slacks. I've made a Remy raglan. I've started on this. Next up is going to be a Regalia blouse and another pair of free range slacks and the Montevilla dress. So my priorities are I've got everything here behind me, look. My free range slacks are still in the living room, and I have got until the 30th to get those done, but I would love to get my Say Fruity done as quickly as possible, and it is all cut out. And my Regalia blouse is going to be in this beautiful lemon fabric that came from a BeyondThePinkDoor, another P, fabric. And I am also making the ever so beautiful Montevilla dress by Sew House 7. There it is. And I am using this stunning cotton that I bought. It's a dress weight cotton, and it is well on the way to being done, and then realised that I needed to make my Sauvie dress, so I wanted to get on and do that. It is a beautiful dress, and this lovely cotton came from Josephine's Dry Goods in Portland a couple of years ago, and it is a cotton made in Washington State, and I wanted to try and get things that were from Portland when I was there the first time. So that is my sewing week. So my 4 P's were, she says looking down, posts, pressing, problem solved, and projects. I'd love to know what you're saying this week. And I lastly want to say thank you so much to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting the wonderful hashtag Fridaysews. So for now, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, it would be wonderful to have you subscribing. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed what I've shared with you today. Do please leave me a comment down below and tell me what you're saying. And if you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. There's a little reminder here. It's a little button underneath. Just press that and also leave me a comment, subscribe. But most of all, thank you so much for watching and joining me today. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.